Have you ever laid in bed at 2 a.m., staring at the ceiling, wondering why your mind won't quiet down, why your body feels tired but your brain won't let you rest? If you're over 60, you're not alone. Sleepless nights become more common with age, and sometimes, no matter how early you go to bed, restful sleep just doesn't come. Maybe it's your aching joints, or your thoughts racing back to when life felt more vibrant. Or maybe it's just the stillness that suddenly makes the silence feel heavier. But what if I told you that in a quiet corner of rural Japan, there's a simple nightly ritual, passed down through generations, that helps seniors fall asleep faster, sleep deeper, and wake up feeling lighter, calmer, and more present? Tonight, I want to share with you this ritual. And I'm not just going to talk about it in theory. I'll walk you through how it works, why it works scientifically, and how a 74-year-old woman named Keiko from Kyoto went from restless nights to peaceful sleep using this exact method. Because if you're part of the elderly reflections community, if you seek elderly wisdom, health, inspiration, and peace in your golden years, this could be the one habit that changes your nights and your days for the better. Let me start by telling you Keiko's story. She used to live in Tokyo, where the pace of life never slows. Even after retirement, her mind stayed busy. Thoughts of her late husband, memories of raising her children, and worries about her health and future would all come rushing in the moment her head hit the pillow. Sound familiar? Then she moved back to her hometown near Mount Yoshino to live with her sister, who had spent her life as a calligraphy teacher and herbalist. It was there that Keiko was introduced to the Oyasumi no Junbai, what her sister gently called the sleep preparation ritual. Within 2 weeks, Keiko was sleeping through the night for the first time in years. So what exactly is this ritual? And more importantly, why does it work so well for seniors? Let's begin with the first part. Slowing the breath and quieting the mind through sound. Each night before bed, Keiko sits on a cushion near the window, where the breeze smells faintly of pine and the distant sound of water lingers from the garden fountain. She lights a stick of shikokuyuzu incense, a citrusy aroma known in Japan to ease anxiety, and then presses play on a 20-minute recording of sukinkatsu, or water harp, a traditional Japanese sound made by droplets of water falling into a hollow stone basin beneath the earth. The sound is soft, echoing, and soothing, like the whisper of rainfall in a temple. But this isn't just beautiful. It's biological. Studies from the National Institute on Aging have shown that ambient nature sounds, especially those with low, rhythmic tones, can lower cortisol levels by up to 65% in older adults. That means less stress hormone in your body, less racing thoughts, a heart that slows down, blood pressure that stabilizes, and a brain that gets the signal. It's time to rest. Now, you may not have a sukinkatsu in your backyard, but you can find these recordings online for free. Look for Japanese water harp or Zen garden fountain. And try listening for 15 to 20 minutes in the dark before bed. Not while scrolling on your phone, just listen. Let it fill the room. Let your mind follow the sound instead of your thoughts. It may seem small, but this is step 1 to better sleep. Giving your senses something softer to pay attention to. A gentle invitation into silence. The second part of the ritual is just as simple, and even more powerful. It's something Keiko calls Yubi wa Totonu, which translates to aligning the fingers. Every night, after her sound ritual, Keiko takes 5 minutes to gently massage each of her fingers, one by one. Starting with the thumb of her left hand, she presses and rolls it gently between her opposite fingers. Then the index, the middle, the ring, and finally the pinky. Then she moves to the other hand. No lotion. No tools. Just quiet, mindful touch. Now, this may sound a bit strange, but there's a deep wisdom behind it. In traditional Japanese medicine, each finger is believed to correspond to different emotions. The thumb is worry. The index finger is fear. The middle finger is anger. The ring finger is grief. The pinky, self-esteem and connection. And before you dismiss that as folklore, consider this. Modern neurology agrees that tactile stimulation, especially in the fingers, activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the part of your brain that tells your body, you're safe. You can relax. Think about it. So much of aging is about losing touch with people, with routine, with even ourselves. But this nightly practice reconnects you to your own body, gently, lovingly. In Keiko's words, it reminds me that I still have hands. That I'm still here. Still me. And in the world of senior health, that simple reminder is more powerful than we often admit. You can do this yourself, tonight. Sit in a quiet place. Turn off the lights. And give your hands 5 minutes of attention. Not judgment. Not critique. Just care. Massage each finger slowly. Feel the warmth. Let your breath slow with the motion. This small act is grounding. And as Keiko discovered, it's one of the keys to falling and staying asleep. Now let's move to the third part of the ritual, something you may already do but not with intention. This is what Keiko's sister called Karada wa Shizumuru, settling the body. It's a gentle body stretch done from a seated or lying down position. Not yoga. Not exercise. Just slow movements that help your joints feel less tight and your muscles feel more relaxed. Keiko begins by lying on her futon and slowly rotating her ankles, then her wrists. 10 circles in each direction. Then she lifts her arms overhead, not for strength, but for space, to open the chest and breathe more deeply. Then, a gentle twist of her knees to one side, then the other. That's it. No sweating. No straining. Just soft movement to release the tension of the day. Why does this matter? Because studies from the University of California found that seniors who engage in 5 minutes of stretching or gentle mobility exercises before bed report 37% better sleep quality compared to those who go straight from chair to pillow. It helps circulate blood, eases joint stiffness, and most importantly, sends the message to your nervous system. The day is over. You are safe now. And if you deal with chronic pain, especially arthritis or restless leg syndrome, these soft movements can prevent the nighttime flare-ups that so often wake you at 3 a.m. So, tonight before you lie down, try this. Sit at the edge of your bed. Roll your ankles. Stretch your arms. Breathe deeply. Twist your knees gently. Let it be a goodbye to the day, and a welcome to the peace of night. As Keiko once told me, the way we prepare to sleep is the way we tell our body we still care. And isn't that what we all want? To feel cared for? You see, these rituals may seem simple, but they carry the wisdom of a culture that honors aging, respects slowness, and understands that sleep isn't something we chase, it's something we invite. So let me ask you this. Have you been inviting rest into your life? Or just expecting your body to switch off like a machine? Because you're not a machine. You're a living, feeling, vibrant person, full of life lessons, senior wisdom, and years of experience that deserve peace at night. We still have more of Keiko's ritual to explore. But I want you to try this first. Start tonight with just one part. The sound. Or the finger massage. Or the stretches. Whichever feels most natural to you. And let me know how it goes. Leave a comment, tell us where you're watching from. What part of the ritual touched you the most? What do you want to try? If you found this helpful, please give this video a like. It helps more seniors like you discover the elderly reflections we all need. And don't forget to subscribe. We have so many more tips, stories, and motivational inspiration coming your way. You deserve restful nights. You deserve gentle sleep. And tomorrow, we'll go even deeper. There's something sacred about the silence right before sleep. In the dim light, when the noise of the day is faded, and all that remains is the rhythm of your breath, your heartbeat, your thoughts, you realize just how deeply you crave rest. Not just physically, but emotionally. Spiritually. For Keiko, that moment became the turning point. Once the sound of the suking kutsu had quieted her mind, once her fingers had been gently reminded of their purpose, and once her body had been released from the tightness of the day, she moved to the next part of her ritual. A step that connects deeply with the soul. A practice called Omoi no Siri, which means, quite beautifully, tidying up the thoughts. This isn't journaling. It isn't overthinking or worrying. It's more like emotional housekeeping. A simple, gentle scan of what happened during the day, and letting it go. Keiko does this by placing her hand on her chest, closing her eyes, and whispering out loud, yes, whispering, 3 things from the day that she's grateful for. They don't have to be big. In fact, they're usually tiny. 1. She might say, I enjoyed the warmth of the sun on my back while I hung the laundry. 2. I made tea just the way I like it. 3. I heard a bird this morning that reminded me of my childhood. And then she ends with one quiet sentence. Arigato. Kore da kyo wa juben desu. Thank you. Today, this is enough. Now here's why this part of the ritual is so powerful, especially for seniors. As we age, our brains become more prone to cycling through regrets, anxieties, and emotional clutter. It's normal. We've lived through so much, lost people, faced illness, seen change after change. And at night, when there's no one around to distract us, all those memories can resurface. But science tells us something extraordinary. Practicing intentional gratitude for just 30 days can rewire neural pathways, reduce symptoms of depression, lower blood pressure, and improve sleep in people over 65. That's not just theory, it's the result of dozens of studies, including one published in the Journal of Aging and Health. It turns out, being grateful doesn't just make us feel good. It literally resets the nervous system, boosts serotonin and dopamine levels in the brain, and helps us process the day with peace rather than tension. So the next time you lie awake in bed, your thoughts circling around what went wrong, try what Keiko does. Put your hand on your chest. Breathe in through your nose. And whisper 3 small gratitudes from the day. Then say aloud, today, this is enough. Because, dear friend, it is enough. You are enough. The next part of the ritual is one that brings warmth, literally and emotionally. It's called ashioku, the Japanese foot soak. Every night, before changing into her pajamas, Keiko fills a small wooden basin with warm water, adds a sprinkle of ground mugwort or a few drops of hinoki, Japanese cypress, oil, and soaks her feet for 10 to 15 minutes. She doesn't use her phone. She doesn't read. She simply sits, watching the steam rise, letting the warmth rise through her legs and soften the tension in her calves and lower back. Now this might seem like a spa treatment, but it's more than that. It's therapy. And there's a deep reason this part is never skipped. You see, our feet carry us, literally and metaphorically, through life. And by the time we reach our 60s or 70s, they've borne decades of weight, stress, and strain. But more importantly, in traditional Eastern medicine, the soles of the feet are believed to contain points that connect to every major organ in the body. Modern science supports this, too. Reflexology and thermal therapy have shown benefits in reducing insomnia, lowering heart rate, and improving circulation. A 2020 study from the International Journal of Nursing Sciences found that elderly participants who soaked their feet in warm water with essential oils before bed reported a 55% improvement in sleep quality within 2 weeks. But more than science, there's symbolism here. Soaking the feet is about releasing the weight of the day. About telling your body, you've done enough. You can rest now. And for those who struggle with cold feet, a common problem in older adults that disrupts sleep, this practice warms the extremities and signals the body to begin its descent into sleep mode. If you don't have mugwort or hinoki oil, that's okay. A simple basin of warm water, a drop of lavender or chamomile essential oil, and 10 minutes of stillness is enough. Let it become a ceremony, a message to your whole system. The day is over, and peace is here. Now, as the body is warm and soft, Keiko ends with something very simple, changing into her night clothes, slowly and mindfully. You might be thinking, what's so special about that? But here's where the Japanese philosophy of Ma comes in. It's the space between things. The transition. The pause. The silence. The moment between day and night. Most of us rush through getting ready for bed, brushing our teeth half asleep, slipping into wrinkled pajamas, and collapsing onto the mattress with the TV still humming. But Keiko treats this part with the same respect as a tea ceremony. She folds away her day, hangs her clothes, washes her face with warm water and a soft towel, then puts on a fresh cotton yukata, a light robe. Not because she expects anyone to see her, but because she is honoring herself. That's something we don't do enough after 60. We stop dressing for ourselves. We stop seeing bedtime as a moment of self-respect. But what if we saw it as a reunion with our truest self? What if we treated our sleep as sacred, instead of a problem to fix? Keiko's routine reminds us that every act, no matter how small, can become a form of care, of healing. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you honored yourself, not for what you did today, but simply for being here? For making it through? Because in a world that rushes everything, even rest, these rituals pull us back into the present. Into stillness. Into safety. And isn't that what we need most in our elder years? Not just better sleep, but a deeper connection to our own rhythm. A return to peace. You may not live in the mountains of Japan. You may not have a sister who studied herbs or calligraphy. But you have something just as powerful. You have time. You have breath. You have wisdom. Elderly wisdom. And you have the ability to create your own sacred wind-down ritual, built on the quiet power of intention. So here's what I want you to try tonight. Pick just one piece of Keiko's ritual. Maybe it's the finger massage. Maybe it's the 3 gratitudes. Maybe it's the warm foot soak. But do it with intention. Without rushing. Without pressure. Do it like you matter. Because you do. And when you're done, come back here. Tell us what you tried. Leave a comment. Let us know where you're watching from. Because your presence here, in this senior health and inspiration community, means more than you know. If you haven't already, please take a moment to like this video. It helps us reach more people like you. And subscribe to the channel. We're building a space where life lessons from the elderly are cherished, where your stories matter, and where each night can end in peace. You are not alone. Your rest is waiting. Let it come. The final stage of Keiko's bedtime ritual is something that many overlook, yet it may be the most powerful piece of all. It isn't a product. It isn't a supplement. It's not even something you do with your hands. It's something you do with your heart. It's called Kokoro no Shizukiza, the stillness of the heart. After her feet are warm, her breath is slow, and her body feels light, Keiko turns off the last light in the room. The space is completely dark, except for the moonlight gently filtering through the rice paper screen. She lies on her futon and places both hands over her belly. Then she silently repeats a single sentence in her mind. I am safe. I am home. I am enough. Not once. Not twice. But until she feels her heartbeat slow. Until her thoughts stop grasping for memories or fears. Until all that's left is peace. Now, you may think a phrase like that is too simple to make a difference. But this kind of bedtime affirmation, when spoken in stillness, in darkness, with no distractions, acts like a balm to the nervous system. It's what psychologists call self-directed compassion, and it's been shown to significantly reduce nighttime anxiety, especially in seniors. In fact, a 2019 study from the Sleep and Aging Institute of North Carolina found that older adults who practiced nighttime affirmations or meditative mantras had a 40% reduction in sleep latency, that is, the time it takes to fall asleep, and reported more vivid, pleasant dreams. There's something about repeating a gentle truth to yourself that overrides the noise, the fear, the loneliness. And for many like Keiko, who live alone, this moment becomes a quiet reminder. I am still here. I am still worthy. Even now. And isn't that something we all need to hear, especially at night? In the quiet, it's easy for doubt to speak louder than wisdom. But this one phrase, this one simple practice, can put the doubt to sleep and let your soul rest. You don't have to use Keiko's exact words. Maybe your phrase is, "I did my best today." Or, "I am not alone." Or even, "I forgive myself. I forgive others. I rest now." Say it softly. Say it like a prayer. Say it like you're tucking in your own heart. Now, let me tell you what happened to Keiko, just 2 months after starting this ritual. Her sister noticed it first. "You look brighter," she said one morning over breakfast. "You're smiling more." Keiko nodded. She felt it too. She wasn't just sleeping longer, she was dreaming again. The kind of dreams she hadn't had in years. Dreams of walking through forests, of cooking with her mother, of laughing at festivals from her childhood. Her mind had found a place to settle at night, and in return, her body began to soften during the day. Her blood pressure improved. Her digestion improved. Her mood lifted. She started journaling again, planting herbs in the garden again. She felt alive. That's the power of deep rest. That's the gift of sleep, not as an escape, but as a return. A return to self. To energy. To clarity. To life. And you, too, can have that. But only if you treat your sleep not as a chore, but as a ceremony. Not as the end of the day, but as the beginning of healing. So now that you've heard Keiko's full wind-down ritual, let's gently recap, not as a checklist, but as a flow. A rhythm. A story. First, the sound of stillness, the suking kutsu, or calming nature sounds, to quiet the mind. Then, the touch of presence, the finger massage that grounds you in your body. Next, the movement of release, gentle stretches to let the body settle. Followed by the tidying of thoughts, whispering 3 gratitudes to release the day. Then, the warmth of the foot soak, inviting blood flow and comfort into the legs. After that, the dressing for rest, treating your nightwear as a form of self-respect. And finally, the stillness of the heart, the quiet affirmation that says, "You are safe. You are home. You are enough." 7 small acts. But together, they form a nightly ritual rooted in elderly wisdom, in generations of Japanese tradition, and in science-backed methods for senior health and well-being. And you don't need to do all 7 to feel the change. Just start with 1. Because here's what I know from listening to thousands of stories like Keiko's, stories from grandmothers in California, widowers in Ireland, veterans in rural Canada, and retired nurses in New York. They all want the same thing. Not just sleep, but peace. Not just time in bed, but time to feel again. Not just rest, but restoration. And that's what this ritual offers. A pathway back to yourself. A pause. A breath. A whisper in the dark that says, "You're doing just fine." So tonight, I invite you to choose rest. To invite it, not fight it. Let your sleep be slow. Let it be kind. Let it be full of grace. And if you try even one part of this ritual, I'd love to hear about it. Share it with us in the comments below. Tell us what worked, what surprised you, what made you feel seen. And let us know where you're watching from. Whether it's a quiet town in Texas, a sunny flat in Spain, or a snowy cabin in Canada, this is a global family of reflections. Elderly reflections. And your story matters here. If this video helped you, please take a second to like it. It helps more people discover this message. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We share stories, rituals, and life lessons from the elderly, because this stage of life isn't the end. It's the harvest. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your heart. Now, go rest, dear friend. Tonight, the peace is yours.